Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I wanted to do the Q&A video here. So first of all, thank you for posting all of your questions. If you want to take part in these Q&As, definitely go and join the Discord. The server name is Appetite for the Dead. There is a link in the description of this video. And yeah, I ask for questions every single week after every Sunday. And this one here is going to be about the finale and obviously the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 4. And so yeah, let's get into the very first question here. Q&A. How did the show hold up to your expectations? Much love. Hope you and your family/friends are doing great. Yes, everyone's doing awesome. Thank you. I will say, in terms of how the show has held up to my expectations, I really liked season 3. I think, there's disappointment with the finale, but not like crazy disappointment. Like, I'm not coming away from the season like very upset about where they ended things. If anything, I'm more just like, I don't know how I feel about David Zabel as a showrunner. I don't know if it's him being the showrunner, and I mean, he's the one who's literally running this whole show, right? And like, again, I think more episodes would help him a lot, for sure. I think if there was way more than 8 episodes, I mean, there's only 7 here, but I think if there was more, it would work. But there's just little things with like how convenient a lot of moments just happen. Like it just happens like this for the characters so conveniently because, I mean, it has to happen for the story. And, maybe a lot of people are going to just like overlook that. But I think you have to make this show for Walking Dead fans overall, where they really care about every little small detail of everything because they love this world a lot. Like, this isn't just like another drama or another TV show where it's like, oh, I'm just going to do this with the characters or whatever. Like, this story matters a lot to a lot of people, and people really care about all of the small details. And, I think just having a lot of convenient moments like that, like, people care about how these characters are surviving. Like, the one thing about The Walking Dead is like people care about literally the smallest things with the characters, where I think other shows it's not the same, right? Like, how is this character, gonna find food or water? Because that's sort of the point of the show. It's like surviving. All of those small things really build up the characters a lot. And when you're seeing the characters do things like that, like it makes so much sense, and it's so exciting to see. And that's why you like to see the characters struggle and go through like the simplest things, like Andrew Lincoln was saying before about going back to simplistic survival horror, where he referenced, going back to like season 1 and episode 1, where Rick wakes up in the hospital and he's in that stairwell and all he has is a match. Like, he lights the match. That's the only light he can see, is just that. Obviously you can't see that far. And he's going down the stairwell and it's just like, what is going on? There's zombies everywhere, or walkers, sorry. And it's like, what is happening, right? And just trying to survive and get to like the next point. And that is something that The Walking Dead, I feel like they don't focus on that as much. It's always just so like, the characters go here or there. Like, I'm happy that in the finale, we at least saw Daryl, stop for gas. Like, there was something there. And I know you can't necessarily see everything all the time, but with this show, they kind of, I think Angela Kang honestly handled it really, really well, where I think in the very last couple of seasons, like beforehand, we were seeing a lot of the traveling, and sometimes you do have to change things up, where you have to make the characters just travel here faster because the story just needs to feel a little bit more fresh and not so boring, right? But Angela Kang, I think, actually handled it really well, where you saw a lot of, I guess, traveling from here to there. There were some issues later on in the final season, for sure, but not like it is right now. I think right now it's definitely a lot worse because the characters are just conveniently ending up in certain locations, or the story is conveniently playing out in a way where like everyone is so safe, or everything is so predictable, and you can just see where everything is going. Like, anyone can write the story. So, I think that's kind of my thing, is like, when you're looking at the story overall, do I have any issues? No. Like, El Alcazar, they're gone, but like, they weren't built up to be anything. Like, I don't really care about that group really overall, because like, what were they all season? Like, not really anything, right? Daryl's back, and they're going to be going back likely to America. So that's what I mean. Like, so my expectations overall for the season are, yeah, a lot of really cool Daryl and Carol moments. Daryl especially with the, that Western episode in episode 5. I love seeing that. And that episode's probably one of my favorite Walking Dead episodes ever. Like, well, maybe like in the top 10 or 20. Like, it's definitely up there for sure. Like, it's not like my top 5 favorite, but it's up there for sure in terms of Daryl episodes. Like, it's for sure top 20, I would say. And so, I guess, for the most part, I really like the season, but I think more disappointed with David Zabel as a showrunner. And yeah, that's kind of how I view it. Q&A, do you think we'll ever get a new spinoff with 100% original characters starting at the beginning of the apocalypse If so, where would you want it to be set, and how could it be different from the main show? I think that, yes, I would absolutely love that. I mean, there's a couple of things with this, right? Like, you could do the Clementine story, because the Clementine story was basically set in Atlanta, so I think that would be really cool. You know, I think you would have to have it really just set in America, or maybe the UK. That would be really cool. But I think you just have to tell a classic Walking Dead story. Like, do something where it's in a location that makes a lot of sense. Like, if you think about it, like, The Walking Dead started in Atlanta. Like before that, there weren't really a lot of zombie stories that I can remember that were set in Atlanta. So, like, you know, you just have to think about how iconic and original you can make this show, where it's like, oh, this thing would be memorable, right? Like, we all love the shot of Rick, you know, traveling into the city of Atlanta, and like that's an iconic shot for The Walking Dead, but like, obviously it originally wasn't like that, right? Like, it's just that it ended up being something like that. So I think that that's kind of, have something more original, and it would create a lot of excitement. Honestly, like, the way The Walking Dead was running things before worked so amazingly. There was just something about like watching like the one show, the main show, from fall up until spring, and obviously there was a mid-season break, but like, you know, you had all of that with the characters and just whatever. And then in the summers, you had like a different spinoff, like Fear the Walking Dead, something more original. And The Walking Dead needs that. There's not enough like connections to anything. And I just don't understand how they're running everything right now. I feel like something changed, and maybe they just thought, well, we're just going to have less episodes, higher quality stuff, and, you know, faster pacing, and maybe The Walking Dead will be better. But it's never really worked, because that's not what made The Walking Dead amazing in the first place, right? Like, I think a lot of people, if you're looking at The Walking Dead, even in the later seasons, comparing that to the spinoffs, people prefer the later seasons of The Walking Dead for the most part, because it's not just all the characters together, it's just the story pacing and how grounded and awesome it felt, right? And I think they have to return to something like that, and having original characters around would be that, I think. And I think it would be exciting. And I think, again, if you're going to have original characters, you need to start from the beginning. There's just something so exciting about that, like something so exciting about seeing the characters literally in the beginning of the apocalypse, and just their reactions to zombies and everything there. You know, obviously I know that the one thing is that, you know, a lot of us might be like, well, like, the walkers aren't as scary anymore. They can make walkers scary. They definitely can. Like, when they choose to, sometimes, like, even in the spinoffs, I don't remember what episode that was, but the walkers actually felt terrifying. The variant walkers were actually so terrifying. It was so insane. Like, Daryl fighting that variant walker on that boat, I was so scared for him, because it felt like he wasn't going to be able to survive that, and he had a hard time taking out that walker. Like, it was almost impossible. I don't even think he actually did. He had to jump off the ship. Now, I know in season 2, like, ignore season 2 of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, because I think they kind of ruined the whole variant walker thing. You should look at that and be like, there was something there that actually created a lot of hype, a lot of excitement. Where did that go? And I think if you saw, you know, the variant walkers and the way it was handled, and a lot of the future stuff that was so exciting, that's kind of where it went. And so, to answer your question here, you know, do I think we'll ever get another spinoff? I do think so. I think that's the one thing that we could definitely get. Like, I don't see us getting a Gabriel and Aaron spinoff, and like all of this, like all of, you know, stories like that I don't see happening. But an original story with all original characters, yes. I can definitely see that happening, because that's the easiest thing to do. You could easily do that. Honestly, that's the easiest thing to do. I could see that happening over Tales The Walking Dead season 2, like, for sure. Q&A, I have an idea for Daryl Dixon's ending of season 4. Let's say the CRM somehow find Daryl and Carol because of Laurent, so they reunite with him and questioning him about the CRM. But Laurent picks up a radio and gives it to Daryl as he tries to listen to someone, but it's actually Rick. And Rick says, "Daryl, is that you?" And the show ends. So we can get ready to see them actually reunite in person. What do you think? I think that would be really cool. Like, if Rick somehow, you know, or I guess Daryl heard Rick's voice on the radio. It's one of those things, though, where you have to think about how the characters are going to reunite and what you want it to be like. Do you want Daryl to learn that Rick survived for the first time over radio, or do you want him to just like see him in person? I think that's the thing they got to really think about here with how the characters are going to actually reunite, because it has to be something that is really amazing. Like, you know, I think about the best reunions overall throughout The Walking Dead. And like, I think, you know, looking back to Daryl and Carol reuniting in season 5, I believe, of The Walking Dead in the premiere, that was really incredible, because they all thought Carol was gone. And then she was the one that saved them. And Daryl, you know, after everything he went through, he just broke down and ran to her. That was amazing. That was so surprising. And we all knew it was happening. It was something that was just building and building and building, and it was so exciting to see. And it was also kind of surprising a little bit because you kind of forgot that, and there's the whole thing with Rick and Carol, because Rick was the one that told her to leave, basically, and she saved them all. Like, it was such a big moment for the characters, and it was something that was, honestly, like, even watching it now, it gives you goosebumps watching, right? And if you're looking at later on in the series, like, even with Rick and Michonne reuniting, that was shocking. Like, obviously, we all kind of knew it was happening, but as you're watching the story, like, for Michonne to be there and then Rick sees her, like, just like that, like, literally they were, like, fighting or whatever, and then it's, like, obviously Rick, because he was crawling away too, it wasn't like he was just, like, literally looking at her. He was crawling away because someone was taking out everyone. He didn't know what was going on. So once he turned around and then the helmet was taken off or whatever, he saw it was Michonne, and even Michonne's reaction, like, they saw each other for the first time in, like, 10 years. Like, oh, like that's so incredible, right? And I think I want it to be something so surprising. I don't know what it is. It's really, honestly, a hard thing to kind of figure out, but it's got to be something like that. And that's why I don't want it to happen in the finale. I don't want it to happen in the premiere of the show where they all reunite. It's got to be something that happens just throughout that first season. And that's why it needs more than one season, because you want Rick to be with everyone. Like, it's not just Daryl. There's Morgan. There's Maggie. There's even Carol. There's Negan, right? Like, there's a lot of characters you want Rick to reunite with. And like, you can't mess this up. Like, this is the one thing. Like, these characters reuniting, you cannot mess this up at all. So, as for your idea, like, I think that would be really cool for sure. I think that would be really awesome. I just don't know if that's something that they would do, because I think they want to build up a lot of hype for their show. Like I'm kind of looking at it for, the ones who live, because we knew that Rick and Michonne were going to reunite, in that show. But throughout all the promotion, did we see the characters together? No, not at all. So I think that's how AMC is likely going to do all of this here. Q&A, would you like Angela Kang to be the showrunner of the reunion show? Yeah, honestly, I would absolutely love that. I do think that she understands the characters a lot. Like, honestly, when you look at The Walking Dead, I think she did everything that she was able to. Like, yes, season 10 at the end, there were some issues, and the final season, there was definitely issues, but it wasn't Angela Kang's fault. Like, when you're really looking at season 10, I mean, the world shut down and there was a bunch of stuff happening. Like, she couldn't really tell the story she wanted to. And even then, I think those 16 episodes were really well done. Like, of season 10. And then there was the bonus episodes, just kind of ignore that. That was just whatever. I mean, obviously there was Here's Negan, right? Like, that was a really good episode. The final season, they had no idea that was going to be the end. And so the Reaper arc and everything that they worked out, they thought that was going to be worked out over season 11 and kind of into season 12. So I think Angela Kang knows what she's doing with The Walking Dead. Like, I would absolutely love Angela Kang to be a part of the show where they're all reuniting. I think she's probably one of the best showrunners out there. I really do think she's probably the best showrunner for The Walking Dead. Like, she did the whole Whisperer arc. She did a lot of that. If you're looking at a lot of pacing issues in season 11 and all that, again, she found out as they were writing season 11 that it was going to be the last season. And they really thought they were going to have another season, because the plan was like, 14, 15 seasons of The Walking Dead. And then Daryl and Carol go and do their own show kind of thing, right? Like, they had all these plans to do other things. And then it was just like, nope, end the show here. And then we're going to have all these spinoffs, right? So, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think like The Walking Dead could be on season 14, 15 or something right now still. And, I honestly think that plan probably would have been better. Like, it's kind of hilarious, but I would have preferred that with all the characters there in Alexandria and everything over what we got. Like, I do like the spinoffs, but I think there was a way to have the Ones Who Live happen, even have the Daryl and Carol spinoff happen, and, not necessarily have Dead City and just have more seasons of The Walking Dead. Kind of insane to me that The Walking Dead ended. Like, if you're looking at a lot of other shows out there, I mean, there's shows that go on for 20 seasons, 30 seasons. It's not, The Walking Dead, I think, going on for 11 seasons, it's a long run already, but you're able to do that. I think the memes of like, oh, is the show still on? That's never going to go away. It's crazy that with The Walking Dead, it just has that. Like, it's unfortunate for sure, because a lot of other shows go on for longer, and it's always so surprising. But like, with this show, for some reason, it's just like, even when Rick returned, it was still a thing, right? So anyways, I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.